was people's choice. I've never sinned with trying to be popular in my films. So that was really surprising, because it's not a it's not an obvious kind of mass movie. So that was really surprising and very, very gratifying too. But all of them were great.
Any other questions?
Sorry?
I asked the journalists if they have any other questions.
I won Oscar. European through and through.
Why?
No, that's a very trick question. No, but I did feel very, in Riga, meeting European filmmakers. I felt very at home, I must say. Not that, Oscar, adverse Oscars, but there's something very nice about the celebration of European cinema, and I'm not making speeches here. I really felt that tonight very vividly, with Daniel Varda being there, and then
but what is the difference between Hollywood and
European movies? I don't know. I thought about it. I just kind of make films here and European. So, I don't want to theorize, but we still seem to history, whether we like it or not, we're shaped by it. And also, I like that people mainly like the fact that when you're a director, to me, the point of being a director, meaning is to be responsible for the whole film. And I don't think you can do that in the States. I have a feeling that only in Europe you can get away with my working methods, which are very kind of eccentric, and some people say egomaniac, but I think there's something very good about cinema being treated as an art form here, and not entirely as something to make money with. And with Ida, I think we really we did everything to make an uncommercial film, to make a film for a cinephile audience, and hopefully emotional too. I mean, it was emotional to us. But so I don't think we easily get away with that in the States. And here the producers, so.
Another question.
Now let's talk about tonight. I don't want to go into that, but definitely Ingmar Bergman's film Winterlight, I know that I liked it very much. And she's just like, she embodies for me European cinema and black and white photography too. And, thinking about using this 4x3 format for Ida. The portraits in Bergman's films, they were not, they were ringing, they were resonating in the background, of course. But to be honest, there's so many, I've watched films for 40 years, and there's so many directors that are kind of somewhere there. It's not just
Isn't it hard to make a Holocaust drama for Polish filmmakers right now?
Not at all. There have been several, and I don't think there is a Holocaust drama. I don't see it as that at all. I think it's a universal film. It's also about Poland in the 60s, about Stalinism, about all sorts of historical situations. I really didn't set out to make a Holocaust drama. That's just one of the elements in the story. There have been Polish films about the Holocaust, and it's become in some ways a kind of shortcut to getting attention. So it's not like breaking a taboo. In fact, there has been quite a few of them. And I try to steer clear of that genre, if that's a genre. I try to make something that's universal, that has many layers, that's historical in a deeper sense, and also, that has some kind of transcendent things in it too. And I don't think Poland is at all a problem. That subject has been dealt with how many times, like 5, 6. So that's not, we can't claim to be groundbreaking here. And in fact, on the contrary, I try not to make a film about that.
Whether it's difficult for women and women actually being more represented in these kinds of awards, especially across the spectrum, things like directing and making films. You know, funny enough, there are more women producers than men. So this is when I'm saying, okay, this is my part of this job, and I've worked there quite a lot of women. And of course, you know, there are a lot of women directors which were not recognized yet, which I believe are very talented, the same cinematographers. There are various reasons why there are less women. You know, we have families, we give birth to kids, and this is usually which keeps us back from, you know, being in the mainstream of our professions. And then sometimes it's very, very difficult to come back. So very often it's the matter of, you know, sacrificing something to something. And each of women artists, you know, Rebecca is an artist, I'm not an artist. So she may say also this is her point of view, but I think there are a lot of many factors which, you know, bring us to the situation that there are less women than there should be in the film industry.
I can only speak from a sort of quite London-centric point of view, and I'd say that at the moment there's a really exciting wave of women writers, playwrights. I think that traditionally women have survived as novelists because they've been in their little corner on their little chair, looking rather lovely as they write. And I do think that the world of film, the world of theatre, there is a certain arena, and you have to get your boxing gloves on, and you have to be quite tough. But I do think that things are changing. I think traditionally it has been a man's world. But I think that there's a wave of change, and it's really exciting. And I think it's not that we must stop fighting, we must keep the fight up, because there is inequality in many ways, and sexism rife within the industry. But I do think that there's a certain energy, force, intelligence that is proclaiming, you know, we are coming, and we are here, we have been, and yeah, and you know, the women are coming, and have been here for many years, as witnessed by, you know, Agnes Varda and many brilliant female, you know, filmmakers from Maya Deren and onwards. But I do think that the gates are opening more and more, which is fantastic.
Well, you never know. Hopefully, yes. You know, this was. I thank Polish Film Institute because they really supported us from the very beginning. And you know, it's the 10th anniversary of Polish Film Institute. You know, next year. And I think that really you can see the change of Polish cinema and how we are positioned in the international market. You know, and I think Ida was a really, you know, a crown on their all these 10 years. You know, this is having, you know, these achievements of these awards and how the film goes into the world, and it's fantastic. So, but I think it's also without them, without the very simple main source of financing film in Poland, you know, that probably will not be possible. So that's why I thank them as well.
Was that a reason why you had to come back to Poland?
No, not at all. No.
No, I went to Poland because I wanted to make a film in Poland. In fact, I've been off, you know, getting offered films in the States and all over the places. I just wanted to make that film in Poland. And a lot of people thought it was like professional harakiri, you know, like my friends say, oh, what are you doing? You know, because the problem is there's no, you know, the Polish films are not very popular at the moment, you know, not festival-wise and commercially, you know, it's a language that limits the reach of the films. So even if you make a mediocre film in English, it will travel somehow, you know, even if it just ends up on TV or DVD or something. Whereas Polish films, they either have to really kind of be special and cut through, or they just kind of, you know, they don't float very far. So no, for me it was like literally, and then the beautiful thing was that I had no hopes that it would be commercial in any way, and that freed up hopes or even thoughts about that. So it totally freed us up to be as brave as we could be, you know, in terms of just casting, framing, storytelling, you know, and it was fantastically liberating. And then paradoxically, you know, it's become very successful, the film, but the idea was really to make a small Polish film totally the way I wanted to make it in a way it's difficult to make it sometimes in the West.
I think there was shooting black and white. I mean, it wasn't very challenging. Maybe it was challenging was to find proper style for this film, to just find proper frames and to just find the proper language to tell this story. But of course, the making film in black and white, I think somehow it's still easier than making a color film, because it was easier. We can mix the light, and maybe challenging was that sometimes we were shooting in a monastery. There was not many things. It was very empty. There was big surfaces, and it was very hard to compose in this place. So I think this, for me, was the most challenging part of the film, to find good compositions and good portraits in a monastery, to find a good look for this place, because it was very empty. So I think this is the most challenging part.